Okay. I recently just got a Curtis Mathis MV-800 video camcorder for VHS, and which is essentially a Panasonic PV-200D camcorder that was rebadged with the Curtis Mathis logo. So essentially everything here can be done with a Panasonic PV-200D battery. I did see that these batteries, once I got the camera, I found out that nobody makes them anymore. Even this battery looks like it was probably an aftermarket battery of some sort. But it was completely dead when I got it, so I looked up a few options, and they're basically, it looks like through Reddit I found that most people said you just have to rebuild these because there is no replacement that's being made currently. So essentially you got your leads down here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but down inside of the case there, the leads are there for the positive and negative terminals. This battery pack is kind of sealed, so what I did was, I should have taped this before, but I already did this part, but I'm going to show you anyways. Reddit user I had spoken with said that you would have to essentially, you put a screwdriver in the seam here, like a small flathead, put it in the seam, and you hammer it down a little bit, not too much because there's a battery inside there, just to where it goes in a little bit, and then you can start to pry it up a little. And once you do that, you can take some of these electronics guitar picks, or just regular guitar picks, probably if they're thin enough. You can kind of slide it in there and start to slide it all the way across, and it'll open up that seam there. And I had to do this on both sides because once I got to the corners, it didn't want to open up very well, so I just ended up coming all the way to the end and then doing the other side, coming all the way to the end. And then I was kind of able to slide the pick under one of these corners and get up, but the other ones weren't coming up real well, so I ended up having to kind of do the same thing on the ends here with the screwdriver and then peel it up. Just be careful because there's very small corners there that don't, you know, there's not really a good way to replace that, so if it breaks. But once you open it up, this is actually what's inside. It's a big battery. It says lead acid battery, and one user on Reddit said that you could actually take off this shield here and take out these rubber caps and fill this back up with water, and it'll work at least temporarily. But I didn't try that because I don't know how long this thing's been dried out for. So anyways, it was sitting in here pretty much like this. You had a Y, the negative attached on this side, positive attached on this side. I just kind of pried the battery up a little bit. It's kind of like held in with some sort of an adhesive. Pried it up enough to where I could get the wires visible, and then I cut them off real close to the terminals here on the actual battery and left them hanging here. This piece here, the positive end, it has a long strip that goes down to the end where the terminal ends at, and that's what makes contact on the actual camera. So it did come up when I pulled the battery out, but I just pushed it back in there. But anyways, I left those leads there because I'm going to take this new battery I got. I got this on Amazon. It looks like, well, it says it was a 12 volt, 2,600 milliamp battery. The original battery itself, the one that I got it with, came with a 12 volt, 2,000 milliamp battery. So this will work. The milliamps aren't as important as the volts. You just, you make sure that you're getting 12 volts, but don't go any higher than 12 volts. Anyways, this I'm going to try to mount in here somehow, and probably hot glue it down so it'll stay in here, and then just solder these connectors to where they go. Just like typical stuff. Black goes to the negative and red goes to the positive. And then once you get all this done, there's enough space inside of this cap that it'll close up and you'll be fine. But the ones that I got recommended on, or rather what I saw recommended on Reddit, were from a company called Talent Cell. Essentially, it was like a battery backup type of a deal that was kind of a similar shaped case. People were taking the internals out of that, putting it into the original case for the Curtis Mathis or the Panasonic battery, and then just cutting loose, like cutting out the slots for like the AC adapter and this power switch and everything. I just bought a battery pack because it's already kind of has the leads already out there for me, and I don't have to worry about all that extra stuff. I can make a hole in this case for this AC adapter that came with this battery if I wanted, but I'm going to see if this will actually just charge with the battery charger that came with the camera. I did kind of connect these leads to the battery charger, and it said it was charging, so I'm going to give it a shot and see how it does. If it doesn't work out, I'll just, buy another one or whatever and replace it. But I think it's going to actually charge with the charger that came with it, so I'm not going to actually make a hole for this AC adapter. I'm just going to do something like this and probably just hot glue it in here so that it stays down. Anyways, we'll go ahead and probably start working on this then. I want to see if I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this in here. Like I have plenty of lead on this battery, so I'm not really worried about like placement for that. It's just, I guess I want to be the most strategic as far as like, how I can get things kind of hidden in here. That's probably good there, I'm guessing. And I'll just kind of fold this up down in here and we'll solder those together and kind of go from there. Now these wires look like they've been pre-tinned already, which is kind of interesting. That's great actually. So I'm probably going to put a little bit more on it and then just solder them together here. Something like that. And then I'll figure out the place, or I'll just hot glue them down afterwards or something. Probably gonna hot glue the actual battery in here too. Actually, I probably need to do that first. That adhesive from 1985 or whenever this battery was made is not really gonna do much at this point, so let me go see if I can get something real quick here. Okay, I'm just going to use these little helping hands from Harbor Freight to hold my wires together here. Okay. Normally I would have put heat shrink on this after I was done, but I can't find my heat shrink container. I'm not sure what I did with it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use a little electrical tape. Should be okay. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, and like I said, heat shrink's usually a lot better for that, but I have misplaced my heat shrink, so not too worried about it. Okay. So that part's pretty much done. Now I'm gonna have to kind of fold these in here. I guess you want to make sure you watch out. There's this little hole that's cut out in the battery there. That's how your camera kind of holds it in. So when you press the eject button on the battery, that mechanism, that thing's got to be able to get in there. So okay, and then I've got to glue this thing in here, and I have to actually glue the battery in and the wires, so I'm going to try and do something here. Maybe something like that. Maybe it'd be better if I just glue the battery in first and then I'll do the wires. We're just going for it here. Okay. Just gonna hold that down while it dries. Now these other ones here, I mean, I could probably technically just put the case back on here, but I guess I just want to get these secured a little bit. Maybe something like that will work. Yeah, I've never done this before, so let's see how this works here. I'm just gonna hold these in place and let them kind of dry a little bit and then move on to the next one. guess the thing I need to watch out for is if I have to open this up again, I gotta make sure I don't hit the wires that I have so carefully glued in here. Let that sit for a second there. That kind of worked a little bit. I probably could have shortened those little leads up a bit and done a few other things. Maybe zip tie these lines up a little bit, but it's okay. So we're just figuring this out together here. Yeah, that's what I'm doing there. Okay, let's go ahead and come up to this positive lead here. And if you wanted to, like I said, I mean, you could cut a hole in the side of this and have that AC adapter plug sticking out so that you could charge it with a separate plug that came with this battery. And I might do that at some point. Maybe I'll open it up and do that again, but right now I don't really think I need to. I only have one battery, so it's not like I'm going to be able to charge it while I'm using another one. I'm going to work on making a 3D model of this case, maybe, so other people can make these for themselves in the future. Don't try this at home. No, you know, this stuff is dangerous, so just so everybody, you know, is aware, and I'm sure people who are doing this are aware of that, but you really have to just be careful when you're working with electronics. I mean, a lot of things can go wrong, and these things are pretty dangerous, so. Now I'm just going to try to see if I can do a little bit more down here. Well, it's not pretty, but this is what we ended up with here. So, at this point, I guess I'll try to see if I can put it in the camera and see if it actually turns on. Should hold together enough just to do this, and then we'll go from there. And moment of truth. I hit the power button here and see if it comes on. Nice. Okay. Well, it seems to be working. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, so I just ended up having to probably just hot glue this case back together. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. And like I said, this battery was from Amazon. It was 20 bucks. I don't know if you can see the brand there. This was a 12 volt, 2600 milliamp battery. The one that people were using on Reddit, they said it was that Talent cell. I think it was like a 3000 milliamp battery. So, but still 12 volts. So the volts are the most important thing. So just remember to make sure you only do 12 volts. That's the most important thing here. Okay. Alrighty. Thanks.